In these kinds of events, how can we best prepare to react and treat the wounded? There's nobody better to ask than Dr. Toby Cosgrove. He is with me today. He's the president and CEO of the Cleveland Clinic, one of the best hospitals in the world. Good to see you.
Well, very nice to be here, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Cosgrove, Toby, I want to just talk about this blood situation. You said we're always in need.
Yeah, we always are in need. In fact, you always need blood for patients with cancer, for surgeries, for tragedies like this. And 1 unit of blood donated can help 3 people. You can separate the cells and the platelets and the plasma, and it can help lots of people who have different needs.
So what do you think was behind those people being turned away? I guess the facilities weren't up to speed?
No, I don't think it's filled. I mean, they were overwhelmed.
They were overwhelmed. That was the issue.
But you have to remember that we always need blood, and the supply is never too much. And particularly when you have a tragedy, the U.S. always comes to the fore. People always turn out to help. But we need just constant banking of blood for standard stuff.
So those people should know that and go back,
Absolutely.
actually, if they were turned away. All right, let's talk about Cleveland for a moment and the upcoming Republican convention there, July 17th. By all accounts, it's going to be incredibly busy, but will it be volatile? Will it turn ugly? What are you expecting, and how have you prepared at the clinic?
Well, first of all, Cleveland is very excited about having the convention. We're also preparing in every way you can imagine, particularly the hospitals coming together and putting together a plan for dealing with any kind of tragedy that could happen, whether it's going to be violence or any other tragedy. We're looking at ways that we can transport people, the way the hospitals can respond. We're monitoring flu. So there has been a tremendous amount of thought and preparation that has gone into this. So we'll be ready. We can look up in a difficult situation. We can look at up to 1,000 surge patients.
And all the hospitals, you said, are connected now.
Yes, we're all working on it together with the agencies, the FBI, the CIA, etc.
That's incredible, because people are expecting protesters. And by the way, we're expecting this at the Democratic National Convention as well in Philadelphia. So the questions about, you know, whether the area is ready is certainly valid.
Absolutely.
Given what we've seen.
And we've been thinking about this and planning for this for over a year. So I think that we will be ready regardless of what happens.
How many people do you expect to be at the convention or in and around the area? Do we have expectations on numbers?
Well, they're expecting 50,000 people coming to Cleveland.
50,000 people.
And it is going to be an exciting time, very busy, and I hope that it's going to be very peaceful.
For sure. All right, let's talk about Obamacare for a moment. Donald Trump has vowed to repeal Obamacare, one of the first acts should he become president. How has the legislation changed your business? Oh,
the legislation has changed it enormously. We've been at it now 6 years. It's changing the way that we are paid, and that changes everything. We're being paid not for the volume that we do, but for bringing around value. And that means quality as well as cost.
That's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But this is the biggest change that's happened in healthcare in a century. And it's the biggest industry in the United States, and affects 100% of the people. So this is a very big deal. Now, interestingly, 50% of the people in the United States support Obamacare. And we're seeing massive changes in the way we're trying to develop the care. We've seen the quality gradually improve across the country. We have seen more people covered, and we've seen inflation come down. Now, there are probably lots of reasons that healthcare inflation has come down, but I think contributing that has to be this new Affordable Care Act.
Really interesting, because the Affordable Care Act is oftentimes mentioned as a barrier for small business to hire. You know, we were talking about it earlier. If you have more than 49 people working, you have to offer benefits. And so some CEOs are saying, you know what, I'm either going to swallow the cost or I'm going to cut my employees down to below 50. So in terms of the cost of the legislation, do you think that that's been a sort of an issue for jobs?
Well, what we're seeing is, I don't think we've seen the full impact yet on jobs. I think we may see that coming in the coming year with people reducing the number of employees. But you have to say that we are under tremendous pressure in healthcare to reduce the cost of healthcare, because everything is pushing us in the other direction. And there's more things we can do for people. There are more older people, and it's a bigger population. So you would expect, left to its natural course, that we would see the total bill for health care in the United States going up. We have to somehow control this, and it is going to be very difficult for the health care delivery system.
Well, it's nice to see all the players involved so focused on cost.
Absolutely.
That has to be a positive at some point.
Yeah. And you know, we need to take, just in the Cleveland Clinic, we think we need to take over a 5-year period of time about $1.5 billion out of our costs. That's a lot of money.
Sure is. All right, you at the clinic has formed an alliance with embattled Theranos in 2014. We've seen all the stories about Theranos.
Yes.
Elizabeth Holmes really under fire. Where does your partnership stand?
Well, first of all, you have to understand, I do not, and the clinic does not have a financial interest in Theranos. What we do see, if this technology works, this is a big breakthrough. So what we have offered to do is to validate the technology, and we have not done that yet. We're waiting for the opportunity to do that, and if it turns out that it works, we will tell the world that it works. If it turns out it doesn't work, we'll tell the world that it doesn't work. Great. But that's the status of our relationship.
Were you surprised to see everything come down the way it did? I mean, Elizabeth Holmes had been able to get so many, you know, leading figures on her board, Henry Kissinger, and then the Wall Street Journal breaks open the story that it doesn't work the way you would think, and that the FDA is actually having major issues with the way that they're operating.
Well, I don't think we know the final story
Okay.
yet. I think we will not know the final story until some academic organizations actually look at the technology and compare it with standard technology. That hasn't happened yet. So I think we will remain to be shown what the results are.
You still using all that high tech at the Cleveland Clinic with robots walking around, Toby?
We're still running, but we got some really interesting new technology, and we're embracing it. First of all, we're working with IBM. And as you may know, that Watson now has gone to medical school there. Watson can now take the patient's history, physical findings, and laboratory findings and give you a problem list that's better than a doctor can do.
Unbelievable.
And then we also got some really exciting things that we're working with Microsoft. Microsoft's new HoloLens. And you can put that on, and you can actually teach anatomy that way. And we're not going to use cadavers anymore. We're going to use HoloLens to teach anatomy. In fact, the other day, I was walking around wearing these goggles, and they said, Toby, stick your head in. And I stuck my head in. I was looking down on the diaphragm. And I have never, 40 years as a chest surgeon, I've never looked down on the diaphragm. It's amazing.
Wow. Because of this new technology, you're able to do it now. Toby, that's fantastic. Yeah, I was just with Ginny Rometty yesterday, the CEO of IBM, and she is just wild about Watson, and she was telling me a little about the advances. Really good stuff, for a lot of people. Toby Cosgrove, great to see you.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Toby Cosgrove is CEO at the Cleveland Clinic.